All right, this section is going to deal with how to solve Chapter 20. Chapter 20 or 21 actually, is dealing with the payroll register. Chapter 20 itself is on the accounting side of it, because when you have people that work for you, you have to figure all this stuff out. To keep track of how your company's money is being spent, you'll need a payroll register. This is a record of the gross income, deductions, and net income of your company's employees. You may use a computer to prepare it, or you may do it by hand. You'd probably refer to tables determining the amount of income tax to withhold from each of the employees if you did it by hand. So the first thing that you do, there isn't really a formula for this other than in order to figure out your gross pay and your net pay. The gross pay for number 1, it says that the gross weekly pay was $396. Okay, so that's what you would get like on your checks, where you would see if you work, you would see that it took like your hours that you worked times by your hourly pay. That's the gross pay. And then from there, you start subtracting. So the gross pay, and then we're going to start subtracting. The first number that we subtract is FIT. What FIT refers to as federal income tax. So on that one it says it's $29 for number 1. Then we're going to subtract Social Security, which in that one was $24.55. Then we subtract Medicare, which is $5.74. And then we're also going to subtract health insurance. Now, there might be more things that we subtract depending on the person or the employee. For instance, I take some other things out for retirement and whatnot like that. But that's the formula that we're kind of going to go with this one. So when I do that, I just like to take the 396 and I like to minus the 29, minus the 24.55, minus the 574, and minus the 42.75, and I end up with a total net pay of $293.96. Okay, so that's what they're asking you to do for that, is find the net pay. All right. So for that particular thing, that's how you do number 1. Number 2, we talk about how it says Dorsey Williams is married and claims 2 allowances. Her gross pay for the week is $735. Besides Medicare, Social Security, and federal income tax deductions, she pays a city tax that's 2% of her gross pay. Find the net pay. So on number 2, we've got a couple different things that we have to do. Medicare is you take your pay, so in this case it's $735, and you multiply it by 0.0145. Okay, that's the multiplying number that we use for Medicare. So when we multiply that together, we get $10.66. Social Security, which I abbreviate as SS, we take the 735 and we multiply it by 0.062, which in that case, when we multiply it, is $45.57. Then it goes on to say federal income tax, which that number comes from the chart in the book. We'll have to look that up. And then it also does say a city tax of 2%. So we take 735, and we multiply it by 0.02, which was $14.70. The federal income tax comes from a chart in the back of the book on page 788 or 791. So if I go back to 788 or 791, okay, for that particular thing, this is where you need to know if they're married or if they're single. So either 788 to 791. This person, Dorsey, on this problem was married and claims 2. So we go to married and claims 2, which is on 790 to 791. We're going to go 730 to 740 because that's how much she makes in between. Claims 2 is 63. So the number is just 63. There is no multiplying and no finding it that way. We just find it based on the chart. Now to find the net pay, what we're going to do is we're going to take her 735, because that's how much she was in for, minus all these numbers. So 1066 minus the 4557 minus the 1470 and minus the 63. Once you do that, you will have her net pay for this problem. So 735 minus 1066 minus 4557 minus 1470 minus 63 is 601 and 7 cents. So that's how much she gets paid. So when you look at these numbers here, if you have to find Medicare, for instance, that's the multiplying number for Medicare. If you have to find Social Security, that's the multiplying number for Social Security. And if you have to find the federal income tax, these are the page numbers that you need to go look for. This number, the 735 that we used for these right here, that was the number, that was her gross pay before all the stuff gets taken away. But the multiplying number for Medicare and Social Security does not change. Those numbers always stay that. And the 788 to 791 is the page numbers where those charts will be located at. This assignment's going to be big because there's going to be a lot of different pieces. For instance, number 11, you have 48 different things you have to do. 12 has 40 different things you have to do. So do not skip any. Something on there that also shows up, if they already give you the federal income tax, Social Security, and Medicare, it's not something that you have to actually find. They already give you the numbers. On 3 through 8, to get Part A, you have to add the deductions. Deductions are FIT, Social Security, Medicare. The net pay would take the gross pay minus the deductions. Okay? So this one's going to be quite a bit of work. So make sure you stay focused on it. We're on page 635 to 636. I'm not going to have you do all of them because that would be a lot, but I am going to have you do 1 through 12. So there is a couple big ones on there. Otherwise, we could do 13 and 14, but I think 11 and 12 would be big enough. So make sure you work hard, and I'll see you guys Monday. Bye.